Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host here,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people? Welcome to Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. Boom, 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 boom. Adam, what is going on, my brother? We just went through this supposedly wicked snowstorm that was not wicked at all.
It wasn't. Here in the States, we've been under hysteria here. The constant, we've been barraged with news programs that wanted to talk about the snow that it came. Let's not diminish that part of it, but it wasn't nearly the historic storm that everybody said it was. But we're glad to give you this music, business news, and trends from around the globe because the Freedom Radio Hour is here to give you good music and good information.
Yes, yes.
I've been chomping at the bit because I've been waiting so patiently for this opportunity. You know that I have been trying to talk about the following topic for a while. I think it's really important that here in our house music, you know, there's a lot of layers to it. You know, when you're in this scene, you want to either be a promoter, maybe you want to recite poetry, or you want to sing or DJ or produce or whatever it is.
Or you want to provide information.
That's right. And there's a lot of opportunity for that. So I wanted to talk solely and have a whole program around people that really take that opportunity to heart. You know, Eddie and I, we are avid social media users, and we also are in the community, and we talk to other members in our scene. And what we're really figuring out is that if a lot of times, too many times, I think, there are DJs and producers and such creative folks that want to do a little bit of work but expect a large yield. You know, they're just so excited to get into this business in some way. They're dying for a record to be out on TrackSource or something, and they often miss the bigger picture, which is you need to be a student of your craft and take the time and education that's required to learn what you're into. But also, I think it's important to step outside of the box. It's too easy nowadays to be the same, just like everyone else.
Well, as we're finding out, being the same, you don't get a following. And the thing is, you have to step outside the box, do something different, and find that following that is going to follow you. It's all about creating that brand and that following.
But I think the really important thing to take away about that is, in order to build a brand, you have to be your authentic self.
Yes.
You can't just be who you think people want you to be, but more
you have to be who you are.
You have to be who you are, and you have to always consider, how do I make an opportunity for myself? I think a big reason why we started Freedom Radio Hour was to give good music, give news information, because we feel passionately about music business news, but we're also like do-it-yourselfers. They call us DIYers, and I have to align myself.
I love the DIY.
I know. They're like acronyms for days. You really can't get. I mean, then anytime you look, there's some new acronym. You know. Well, DIY is a phenomenon that has taken over the world. There's DIY shows that talk about home decoration, flipping homes, to all kinds of things.
Flipping furniture, flipping people,
swapping wives.
Everything.
You know? There's a lot of opportunity here for content. You know, and then in house music, there seems to be the basic modes. You know, you either want to release music, produce music, DJ at events, or promote events. But nowadays, with the way technology is, for a little bit of money, you can have a little camera, and you can just basically give a lot of personality and talk about what you'd like to talk about. The key is creating content that people care about and that's interesting, so that there has to be an entertainment point, there has to be an education point, you know? So I feel strongly about that. So I have to shout out people that are like-minded. So tonight we want to solely focus on DIY folks, and we couldn't think of a better guest tonight than to have our own here in the community and HouseHeadz at home. So right now we are including our applause.
Yes.
Exactly, because I'm very, very excited to introduce Miss Troy here, who is representing HouseHeadz at Home, which is this wonderful, wonderful program. So first of all, let's just take this opportunity to thank you both for coming, for Troy and for Sekou, who's in the building as well.
Hey.
Thank you both for joining us tonight. I just wanted to, no doubt, I had to make sure that everybody knew about your program. So this is how I knew about it. Eddie actually appeared on HouseHeadz at Home, and he took a few moments with Troy, and they had a great time. And that there's a few things that I noticed throughout the episode.
Yes, she fed me too. Yeah,
she did. She sure did. And then I paid attention to other episodes, and there was a theme. The theme was that she was inserting humor, entertainment, critique, fashion, culture, all these things all at once. And I thought it was a genius way for her to kind of give up herself and create her own opportunity. So I wanted to quickly say hello to you, Troy, and I want you to quickly mention where people can find the show. We're going to take a break and then come back, and I want to dive in with you. All right. So Troy, tell people if they've never heard about HouseHeadz at Home, where first of all they can find episodes and tune into what you've got going on.
Oh, thank you so much for that great introduction. I really appreciate you too, Eddie.
I wanted to say Troy. I want to say Troy Aries Robbins. That's what we know you as. Now, Aries
Yes, indeed. It's Troy Aries Fire. That's right, Robinson. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's quite easy to find the show HouseHeadz at Home. You just go straight to YouTube. You type in HouseHeadz, and that's HOUSE, heads with a Z. HEADZ.
Yep.
At home. Just type in HouseHeadz at Home and all the videos will show up. I think it's about 38 so far.
Oh, I love it.
Done. Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to talk
busy.
more to Miss Troy about HouseHeadz at Home. I want to ask her, how did you get to starting this kind of program? Why in the first place would you want to do something like that? And also, Troy, what is your vision for HouseHeadz at Home in the future? Because on the surface, it seems like it's just a commentary show, but it kind of goes deeper, you know? So we'll come back in a moment right here on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan.
Boom, boom.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
And we're back right here on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. You're tuned in to the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host, Eddie Nicholas, in the building. And today we are focusing on DIY creatives. Just like you're tuning into the Freedom Radio Hour, we have other folks in our community here that are interested in producing content on their own. And I fell hard and fast for the HouseHeadz at Home show with Miss Troy here. And I asked her before the break, what made you start something like a HouseHeadz at Home? Because on the surface, it could be like, kind of hit or miss. It could be like a little gitchy kind of commentary show, but that's not what ended up happening with your show. In my opinion, I think it kind of went deeper. So why start the show to begin with?
Wow. I started the show just out of sheer fun. Totally out of fun, and because we always talk about the parties after we get home. So, and our friends would come over and we could critique the parties, the DJs, just everything, the floor, everything. So we get to talking, and I was like, hey, you know what? This is pretty good here. I'm going to tape this. I'm going to put it out. I'm going to put my own show on, get my own voice heard. And I titled it HouseHeadz at Home, because we are at home, and I consider myself a househead in the community. And it just started from there. My friend, a friend of ours, Polo, he happened to be over, and we were just talking about the parties that we went to, and got his opinion about if he liked it or not, and it just went on from there. And then I thought, wow, we could have guests, because strictly was from the dancer's point of view. Right. I'm a dancer. That's where it all came from.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway, that show is dancers oriented, and that from a DJ producer perspective like me, I'm an artist as well. I thrive on getting feedback from the dancers. They're instant feedback on the dance floor. If you're rocking a club as a DJ or performer and you see a dancer losing his or her mind, you know you're doing something right. It's the dancer that gives you that call and response that we're looking for when you're creating or being a performer in some way. So going back to your point, Troy, I think that HouseHeadz at Home really kind of started as a commentary but went deeper, because you started to tape the conversations, I think, in my opinion, because you started to realize the value and what was being said. You weren't just saying this guy was good or this girl was whack. You were going deeper into the state of affairs, so to speak. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. Yes, it came quite naturally, because once I got to talking and thinking about it, I said, well, I want to state my point of view, because if I didn't like something, I want it out there, because it's always been about the DJs, the singers, the performers, who do the music. What about the dancer?
That's right.
We have a voice, because if it wasn't for us, there would be no party. So that's how it went, And if I wasn't satisfied with something, I wanted to say it.
It's about your experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is about your
totally
experience.
about my experience. That's it.
Right.
And I want to pull people into it. Want to pull them into the parties as well. So I'm gonna tell you, if I was there, this was really good. And if it wasn't, and if I didn't get to this party, this is why. Because the location was too far. I was just trying to inform everybody
Right.
That's in the house community and who really enjoys those parties what our opinions were. And then when our friends came over, I said, wait a minute, I thought about that too. They're all dancers. So it's going to be from their point of view as well. So we get on here and we discuss different yay or nay, what we liked and what we didn't
Right.
like,
Well, I
and the
love that.
DJs, well, I've had DJs on too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
to
know.
get their perspective
That's
as
right.
well too. That's right. So
Well,
it's
I've loved
just-
all that. I think the biggest thing was exactly that you didn't just feature other dancers, which is of course very admirable, but you started to feature DJs and promoters and just people that were going to the event. They weren't even classifying themselves in any one way, but they were just informing the public through your show what their sentiments were, and I think that's really important. I think what I want people to do, well, I think we were about ready for another break, but before we go to break, let me know your opinion about this. In the future, if you had to make a vision plan for yourself and HouseHeadz at home, where do you envision this program going for you? Because it's a great thing. It's cost little to nothing to get going. You basically you have a fly apartment with a cute camera, and you give a lot of
Thank you.
personality, and you're opinionated. And I think all those things together make for a great show. But what's the future of HouseHeadz at home, in your opinion?
Wow, the future, of course, I want it to get bigger and better. And I would like for eventually to be picked up, and get my own show, to have it on television. That's what I would like. I do, but I want the
want a syndicate.
sponsorship, and I want to get the funding, and I want to make money.
That's right.
Yeah, and I would like for that to also propel those who have come through my door, the singers, the DJs too, to even a higher status for themselves, for the whole house community, because we have a voice. It's a beautiful scene. It's a really beautiful place to be. It's just about love, and it's about dancing, the love of house and the love of that music. And I would like for that to be spread more, because everything's about R&B and like hip hop, but we don't really have our own platform. Why don't we have our own dance show? Why don't we have our own 106 in Park?
That's right.
Where we're interviewing our artists. You know what I'm saying? And our dancers are up there. Right. They are our stars. You're exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sekou hits it on the head that we
Yes,
are
he did,
we
indeed.
are critiquing, reviewing, and enjoying our stars. We're shining a light on them by being critical, because I think we want a lot out of the scene because we are very passionate about it. I want to take another break, and when we come back, I want to just give you a couple of tidbits of items that we're going to talk about it on the next show, but also I want to just summarize more about HouseHeadz at home and other things you can do if you're considering DIY projects. And of course, if you're in the Sudan and you're coming to the States, definitely go on YouTube and search out HouseHeadz at home, HouseHeadz, HEADZ, and you'll be able to find out more about your upcoming trip. All right, so let's take a break, and we'll come back in a moment here live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. Y'all.
Freedom Radio Hour.
What up, beautiful people, and welcome back to Capital Radio 91.6 FM to the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, Eddie Nicholas, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Mr.
Adam Cruz, y'all.
What up, Adam? Welcome back. We're going to jump right back into DIY. Do it yourself.
I love it. I love how Eddie enunciates DIY. Do it
Yes,
yourself.
you got to let people know.
That's right.
Do
Well,
it yourself.
Right now, we're talking about HouseHeadz at home. If you go on YouTube.com and search out HouseHeadz at home, co-hosted by Miss Troy and Beverly Lightwater Jackson. Oh, I just love these two
Yes,
already.
Miss Troy, Roy, Aries, fire.
Yes.
The fire.
So I want to make sure that you guys are aware about her wonderful program, and also to be encouraged to start your own kind of concert program. It doesn't have to be a show. It could be anything. The point is, do it yourself. Get your own opportunity. Stop waiting for the opportunity. Make your own.
And so many people are doing it.
I know, and right here is our proof positive that it's possible. So I wanted to just shout out Miss Troy and Beverly Lightwater and for the show. I wanted to quickly mention that next week, be on the lookout for great news items. I want to talk about the appeals court and what they're doing around music copyright. You know that for a long time, they were trying to figure out how to deal with the royalty rates for how they pay out artists with respect to Sirius and other satellite radio, Sirius XM and satellite. So now they've come to some decisions. They're apparently going to be meeting again later this spring and into the summer. So next episode we're going to break down.
And also, I had you about Spotify with them claiming that they paid out $5 million, but with 12 billion hits on their site.
Well, we're going to
and
investigate all that.
Artists and all of
present
that.
it.
You know, these
Yes,
people.
That's right. So here at the Freedom Radio Hour, make sure you check out our websites. Go to EddieNicholas.com, DJAdamCruz.com, and FreedomRadioHour.com for all the latest. And make sure that you post under everything we're posting because we want to hear what you have to say. Shout us out. Let us know that you're listening, and let us know what you think about all these topics. You know, I feel like when we're out of the scene, it's so easy to not do anything that's clever or just do what everybody else is doing. And right tonight, we want to pay homage and honor to things that are different. So with that said, I do want to, from the dancer's perspective, a shout out to Sekou, who's one of our resident dancers, phenomenal on the floor with the footwork. But I also want Sekou to give his honest opinion real quick about what he thinks the state of the scene is. When you go to parties these days, what's the sound like, and what do you think it could be like?
Well, personally, I think the sound could be a lot better. I believe that the music is lacking funk and soul, and it's not as good as it used to be, let's say, 10 years ago. That's just my opinion.
Right. And that, so you feel like if we're adding the funk and soul more and just pay attention to the craft, we'll get better music? Because I feel like part of it too, we were talking about it earlier, was that it happens, the music is pumped out so fast that you're not spending enough time on the composition of the music itself, you know?
Yes.
And to Ms. Troy's point, you got to bring that funk, that flavor is where it's at. Yes.
Funk and some soul back into it. Music is getting soulless.
That's right.
Okay.
But we're here to remind you that there is soulful music out there if you care to listen, and if you also let other people know. It's definitely out there. Definitely thank you for checking out the Freedom Radio Hour, and definitely check out all that we're posting and talking about because we want to hear what you have to say. Stay tuned for next time. Thank you very much. Peace out to Eddie Nicholas.
Peace out. Thank you, Sekou. Thank you, Troy.
That's right.
Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan, Freedom Radio Hour.
See you
Peace.
guys. Peace. Wait, but before we go, I got to try one thing. Miss Troy, you end your show by saying something that I love all the time. Can you please do us a favor of ending the show in that way?
Indeed. Yes, people, always remember, when you feel that you're at the end of your rope, you tie a knot in it, baby, and you dance.
Yes.
Indeed.
I love it. Shout out to everybody listening, y'all. Shout out to the Sudan. We love you very much. See you next time. Peace.